Hey, Betty. Hi, Wanda. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Charles?
I'm good, dear. How are you?
All right. Very well. Thank you.
Okay. So may I ask, who is Heart? Oh, there we go. It's Veronica. Hey, Veronica. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Okay. You come up for some reason as Heart Spirit.
Oh, I did join under Heart and Spirit.
Oh, okay.
How do you do that?
I don't know. I was wondering who that was.
Okay, hold on.
I don't know that person.
Renee. He's
Anyway.
laughing at me, Nick.
Yes, but no, I'm laughing at the fact that I did not recognize
Renee.
who you were
Okay.
till the video came up. Now I know who you are.
Under mute.
Anyhow,
I did
so,
it. I can't hear.
So here we are. Okay, and I.
Oh wait, this is my.
Correct.
Okay, now I can hear.
Okay.
I've done that before.
Yeah, I'm getting all kind of different messages here. Anyway, so we're gonna get started. Okay. Though I guess there's like 8 or 9 of us here. Okay. Anyhow, I wanted to show some of the work that you guys are sending in, and so I want to go back to the original image. All right. So can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so that's what I originally sent you. Okay. And is there anybody who did not get this via email, whatever? Okay, we're all silent. So does it mean everybody got it, right? Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
I don't think Bernice did.
And
I sent her. I forwarded your email you sent me to her.
Yeah. She sent me something, so I'm pretty sure she did. But okay, let's take a look at these then. I don't see her on here yet. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to do a share. No, that's not what I want to share. Okay. There we go. Close that. Where are you? There. Okay. So, all right. Now, I put this on there because I wanted to talk to Bernice. She had sent me this. But we're going to go down the line until I guess she shows up or other.
No, Charles, I sent you that.
Oh, you sent me that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is yours. And I have it listed as Bernice's. All right. Oh, wait a minute. We talked about that last week, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I'm busy.
I'm getting senile. See, I can't.
Okay.
No, it's Monday. It's Monday.
I know. We've. It's like, what have we covered? What have we not? Okay. All right. So I'll just go down the list here real quick then. So this is a drawing that Betty Bates sent in, and obviously on the right you recognize the original source of it. And Betty, that's a nice little drawing, you know, from the photo reference. But more than that, I like kind of where you're going with what's on the left. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, I was trying to think outside the box, which isn't my normal thing. So I challenged myself to do something more abstract. And I really liked in the picture, both Degas and the ballerina, just the form of it and the motion of it and the movement. So that's what I tried to get in there.
Okay. And you were using a graphite pencil with this, right?
Yes.
Okay. When you look at the object on the left, you know, not the ballerina. Okay. What does it remind you of? I mean, is there any kind of visual image or anything that comes up for you in looking at, you know, just your second drawing?
I can't say that I can think of anything.
Okay. Because when I looked at it, it almost struck me as though it was something like a tree, you know. Let me see if I can get my little pointer thing going here. Okay. Okay. That's not what I want. Okay. Yeah, I just want the point is all I really want. Can anybody see where that's kind of at? Let's see.
Yes.
Yes, we can see.
All right, I won't click on it, but yeah, I think this is easier to see. Okay. So this kind of reminds me of tree branches and like the trunk of the tree. And it's kind of like the tree is sticking out of like a cloud or something, you know. And I like the way that you've used the line and the tone and how you varied the line. You know, they're not all the same. And so you've varied the weight, and it's got kind of a nice rhythm and motion to it. And I actually like this quite a bit. It'd be interesting to see what you could do with that. You know, where you would go from here, you know, playing with it. And
yeah, I tried to get the light, you know, using the softer lines and more, you know, and the harder lines for the darker areas. So it's hard with just black and white, but it was really kind of fun to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, I think if I were going to do something like this, you know, you might play with kind of converting this into color. You might crop sections of it, you know, maybe rather than having everything out here, you know, kind of crop it a little bit tighter, you know, in some way, you know, either more horizontal, more vertical, you know, because you don't have to necessarily include all of it in there. But, you know, just, I mean, there's some interesting stuff going on there. And I would kind of encourage you to, you know, play with it, see what you could do with it. You know, again, you know, it's a challenge. And somebody asked me this question that, you know, is this like something that we have to do? I think it was Lynn asked me about it. And the answer is no, you don't have to. This is a challenge. It's something I want you, if you want to do it, to play with it. You know, it forces you or gives you something that you can work on that's a little outside the norm of what you might, you know, normally do or pick for yourself. And so the goal here, like I said, isn't really to do like a, you know, a copy of the piece. It's like, how do you take something like that and make it your own? You know, what can you add to it that makes it personal, you know, for yourself? So that's the point of the challenge. And so you've certainly gone in a nice direction with it. Okay. Moving on. This is a drawing by Beverly. Okay. Beverly even here?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Hey. All right. So, you know, you've added a bit to this ballerina. You know,
I had Eloise. I'm still having trouble sending pictures,
Right.
but she just sent one. I added to it, and if you got it, it has butterflies around it. And I had problems with that head, how to make that head go up in the air, and she looks like a child instead of an adult.
Well, she does. She looks a little young. but that's, you know, that's not a terrible thing. The one thing I'd say is probably the proportions of the head, because children generally have kind of rounder faces. And if you would have made it a little more elongated, it would have looked more like an adult. Yeah.
Okay.
But also the trick is right here in the neck, you know, and breaking that line in front. You kind of started doing it with some of the tone, but it's not really strong enough to see that there's, you know, two separate shapes there, you know, the front plane of the face and the neck by itself. Okay.
Right. You know, I do okay in shading with paint, oil paint, but I didn't know how to shade with a pencil. I didn't.
Yeah, it takes practice, doesn't it?
Mm.
So it's all a matter of pressure, and you've got to turn the pencil to the side, and rather than just moving back and forth, you know, if you want to keep those gradations and things softer, then maybe just kind of move in a circular motion. And again, don't be in a hurry to get it as dark, you know, as maybe you want it. You know, just build it up slowly. And, you know, the less pressure you put on it, the more even the tone is going to be. When you start pressing down real hard, then it starts getting kind of scratchy looking. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
So, but yeah, it's, you know, that's a nice take on it. And again, you know, I think the thing I like about the drawing at this stage, you've got good motion, you know, it's certainly reminiscent of the Degas, but then you've taken the costume and you've done something different with it. And, you know, I like, it kind of feels like this is really textural, and that the lines here, the pattern in the costume itself, sort of add to the motion that you've got in the drawing. This one is the one that I got that's more recent.
Yes.
And so you've added things around it. And so you've put her in a different environment. And she's no longer a ballerina. She looks like, you know, she looks like a little girl or you know, a young woman, you know, out sort of like in a field or in nature or something. And you got the birds and the, you know, flowers and plants and stuff around her. And so it tells a different story. Okay. So I like where you're going with that.
Is
No.
it too busy?
No, I don't think it's too busy. You know, if you wanted to, you know, I mean, you could take that a lot further. You know, you could add color to it. You know, I like the composition because everything is kind of moving around her, you know, which kind of mirrors the shape of her dress as well. So
I kind of called it free as a butterfly.
well, and okay.
Yeah.
So would you go any further with it at this point, or?
Well, I don't know how unless I paint it.
Well, and you can, you know, again, you know, there's no restriction on whether you paint these, sculpt these, draw them. It's up to you.
All right.
Yeah, you know, so yeah, I'm not telling you have to do this, or this, you know. It's going to be, you know, up to you whether you want to go further with it or not. But you've got a nice start on this, and you could make a really interesting piece of art from it that really is yours, and not just a copy of the Degas. Okay?
Thank you.
Staying on this theme, or more or less on this theme, the earlier art challenge was Girl with a Pearl Earring. And I want to share with you guys Elsie Jester's take on this and show you where she went with it. So, you know, a lot of people drew it. A lot of people, you know, did watercolors or painted or whatever. Elsie, you know, treated this three-dimensionally. So she took one of these styrofoam heads that you put like wigs and things on. And she mounted it to a board. Evidently she cut it or something and mounted it to a board. and she took fabric and, wrapped it, much like the head wrap, and then found some kind of material, or maybe this is a sweater, I don't know, for the body, or, what she was wearing, and then photographed it. And so there's one. There's a little bit different angle. There's another. Okay. So, I thought that was a real creative solution,
I
to,
like it.
yeah, I mean, it's a
Yeah, I
fun,
like it too.
yeah, it's kind
different.
of a fun mixed media piece. I wonder, Elsie, are you there?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Well, don't sit there.
Good job, good job.
Pardon?
It's a very nice job.
Yeah, I thought she did a great job at it. I thought that worked out really, really well.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Okay. All right.
Painting a wig head
Uh-huh.
to look like a human
Mm-hmm.
is hard.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be. The styrofoam doesn't necessarily take the paint real well.
No.
But the thing is, you pulled it off.
Mm.
And I thought that worked really well. That's a really fun piece. So I'm gonna, give you a slap on the back about that one. Okay, you did well. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, and I wanted to show this piece. Now this was Eloise, and so the answer is yes, I got it. Okay, and I was going to talk about it a little bit on Wednesday in the painting class, but I'm going to talk about it here too. So can you tell us a little bit about this?
It's just 3 paper bags
Mm-hmm.
on a black background.
Okay.
I think it's oil. I did it some time ago. I think it
Oh,
was
okay.
oil.
All right. I thought you did it recently. Okay, but you said it's oil.
Yes, I think it was.
Okay, and it looks like it's on a canvas, but you've kind of created a border.
It's on a canvas,
Okay.
a small canvas,
Okay.
and I taped it around the edge so it would kind of be, kind of look like a frame.
Okay. All right. And it works really, really nicely. As far as, having it look like it's, in a frame. I do that. I've done that a lot actually, with gallery wrap canvases, where I'll take the edge, and I'll paint a color first, and then I'll take the edge, and then I'll do the painting inside of that taped area. And it works really, really nicely. A lot of times when I do that, I'll use like a metallic, like either a gold or a silver or a bronze. And I usually do that with like still lifes more than anything else. But it's an effective way of treating it. As far as, the painting of the bags themselves, you see very clearly, what they are. And it's nice that you've got this change between what appears to be probably, a very close to a straight black, and then you've changed the value to create some kind of sense that these are sitting on a surface and that you're getting light hitting that surface right there. And so that's working pretty nicely. The thing is, I'm not really particularly certain where the light source is on these, because it looks like you have shadows being cast, but they don't seem to be consistent. Okay, so they're not all coming from the same direction. Like, for example, this part of the bag right here seems like it's catching a lot of light, and you get to the side and it falls into shadow, which is something that you would expect. Okay, but then you look over here and this could possibly be a cast shadow, from this bag. Okay. And And then you got the cast shadow here, but it doesn't feel like it's coming from this bag right here. It feels like it's coming from this one. Which means that there would have to be a light source over here, which you've also seemed to indicate that, okay, there is right in here. And then this falls into shadow. So I'm just kind of curious. I mean, did you have multiple light sources on this, or was this a single?
Yes, there were multiple light sources on it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because
I'm glad you pointed that out. I had not noticed it. I hadn't realized it.
yeah,
But I see what you're talking about.
yeah, because it's like somehow the shadows don't quite attach to the objects. Okay.
Mhm.
And that would really be my only criticism about it. Other than that, I mean, I like the piece, I like the movement, I like the composition, and I liked how you handled rendering the actual bags themselves, and the value ranges and things all work really pretty nicely. It's just that one little thing there that I was kind of like, that doesn't, you know, that part doesn't quite feel right.
Mhm. Okay. I'll work on it
Well, yeah. I mean, but it's a nice little
next
piece.
time. Thank
You know, do you, you know, if I were going to do this, okay, or, you know, rather than work on this piece, what I would do is I would take, you know, 3 bags, and you don't have to set them up the same way, but you could, you know, or similar to it. And then, now, did you try to paint this from life, or did you try to paint it from?
Yes, it's life.
Okay. Yeah, and so I'd kind of recommend doing the same thing. But, you know, maybe as a step, you know, before you just started painting it,
Mhm.
I would probably photograph it so it could get some reference. And that way, you know, depending on the situation you're working on, if your light source isn't consistent all day long, you know, I would photograph it at a time when the light was the most dramatic on it. And then I would try to draw and paint it from there. Okay.
I think I'll do that.
Yeah. You know, doing things like that, you learn a lot, you know, just in the process of doing it, and considering, you know, where the light and the shadow are, you know, what the shapes and the forms are, what the actual, you know, bags are doing. Are they opened up all the way? Are they partially folded? You know, you can get a lot of interesting shapes and forms and shadows, you know, working in a composition like that.
Most of my light comes from the ceiling, so I would have to set up a lamp, right?
Well, you could. Another suggestion is if you have a room with a large window or something, you know, put a table next to the window, and, you know, put your bags and things up there, put a backdrop behind it, you know, if you want to.
Mhm.
And then, you know, as I said, you know, either in the morning or the afternoon, or, you know, sometime of day when you got a lot of light coming through that window,
Mhm.
I would either try to draw and paint it then, or I would photograph it then, so that you could really look at what the shadows and things are doing on those shapes and forms. Okay?
Thank you. Good idea.
Charles, can you explain again about taping the sides where you said you do some of your paintings like that? Do you leave the tape on there, or?
No. What I do is, if I'm working on a gallery wrap canvas, you know, a lot of people paint to the very edge of that canvas. And so
Yes.
when you look at it hanging on the wall, it just kind of, the painting suddenly stops and you get the wall, right? Well, you know, for a lot of still lives, what I'll do is I'll actually paint the side of that gallery wrap canvas and the front part, well, you know, about 1 inch to 2 inches in on the front surface
Okay.
with an acrylic paint, like a metallic gold or something like that, and let that dry. And then I take masking tape, but really the best tape I found is, it's this Scotch 810 transparent tape. And I'll basically block off, you know, that edge, and then I'll paint within there. And that will be my image. And then after I'm done with the painting, you know, I'll peel the tape off, exposing that gold or whatever I painted the, you know, the frame as.
Okay.
And it gets a nice, clean, tight edge to it, and makes a nice finished piece of work.
It's
Thank
called
you.
Scotch 810 tape.
Yeah, 810 Transparent is the name of the tape, and I used it a lot when I was doing illustration and graphic arts. It's great for masking because it's not a low tack tape, but it's not like real aggressive either. So if you stick it down and just kind of lightly burnish it, and then you paint or whatever, you know, draw, you know, or use whatever media you're going to. And after you're done and everything's dry, just start at the corner and lift it. You'll get this really nice, sharp, clean edge, you know, to the work, and it'll be real crisp. And the problem with painter's tapes and things like that on canvas is that when you lay that down, it doesn't always give you this really clean edge. You know, there's these little kind of raggedy areas or areas where the paint might have, if it's wet or you brushed into it, the paint will bleed up under it. And with that 810 Transparent tape, it almost never does that. You know, I mean, it has such a really good firm tack to it that it really sticks down to the surface and doesn't let anything bleed up under the edge. I think, you know, the only drawback to that is about the widest you can get that tape is about 1 inch. A lot of times you'll find about a 3/4 inch wide is pretty common size for it. But if you can get the inch wide, you know, then you'll use less of it. But, you know, you don't, you know, if I wanted to mask off, let's say a 2 or 2.5 inch area of the canvas, then I'll just take a piece of like newspaper or something, you know, lay that tape right, you know, along like the edge of the paper so that I have enough stuck onto the paper, and then I'll take it and put it down on my canvas and wrap the newspaper around the edge. So it protects, you know, the sides, you know, of the gallery wrap and everything. And, you know, I don't have to worry about, you know, paint and stuff getting all over, you know, that edge. So then I can get as messy as I want, you know, with the paint on the paint surface area. And then when I'm done, I just take it all off, and you know, it's a done deal. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right. Anyway, moving on. This is another one of Elsie's. Okay.
Mhm.
And Elsie, is this pastel? Is it what kind of tea is this?
It's watercolor pencils.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, and I again, you know, you kind of kept the movement, you know, and the general intent, you know, of the original piece, but then you've certainly gone a different direction, you know, with the costume. And I like where you went with it. That's nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
It almost looks. I'm not a big flower guy. Okay, so you know, I don't garden a lot and all. I know some flowers and things, but it kind of reminds me of a particular type of flower that has those red petals, but it's got like these white tips or something on it.
Oh.
I want to say a camellia, but it's, yeah, I don't think that's it.
Mm.
But it almost looks like she's wearing a flower.
Ah,
So
I like that.
yeah,
Yeah, it does. Mhm.
and I like your use of color. You know, the red and, you know, to the blue green. It's a nice complementary contrast in the color. Okay. Now this is Ilan. Ilan, are you there?
I am here, but I'm on the phone.
Oh, okay. I'll come back to you then, or let me know when you're off the phone.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. So, okay, yeah, that Beverly's. Uh-oh, it says we're running out of time. So we got 10 more minutes. So I'm gonna have to move faster. So these are John's. And John, I like where you're going with these.
Okay.
Now you said you did these on the computer?
Yeah, I downloaded an app called Sketchpad.
What was it?
Sketchpad.
Oh, Sketchpad, okay.
And I'd never done anything on the computer before, so I'm sort of learning how to use the app itself and trying to work on the project.
Okay. Well, you know, these are really nice, expressive little drawings. You know, I like, and he did three of them. There's the first one, and I like this one the best.
I do too.
Right up front. Okay.
That's sort of the preliminary to the next one.
Okay. But again, you know, it's, you know, I think it's a great start. And then there's the final one. Yeah. But again, you know, you got a lot of movement and action in there. You know, you seem to have, I'm not quite sure what this guy is that a weight? You know, like
Yeah. The first guy is lifting weights, and the second guy is being shot out of a cannon.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that was kind of a different place to go from starting.
It's not quite a ballerina.
Well, no, that's fine. You know. But again,
I was trying to get the light, the bent over look on the lights.
okay. Yeah, but again, you know, the idea wasn't to copy what I sent you. It was to, you know, take that and kind of make it your own. You've certainly gone there. Okay.
Thank you.
You know, you get an A on that one.
All right. Yeah.
Okay?
We're going great.
Yeah, but those are fun. Those are great. All right. Here's June. Now that's the girl with the pearl earring, June Wang. And so I'm not quite sure what media she did this in. I'm guessing it's oil. And she did a nice job. You know, this is a kind of a nice rendition of that figure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
that.
June, are you here?
Yeah.
It's hard for me to tell who's here and who's not because I don't get to see everybody. Well, there's 14 of you out there somewhere.
I'm back.
Okay, so you're back? Okay,
Yeah.
but let's go up and, so tell me a little bit about your painting here.
It's an old painting that was like something else that I didn't like, and was like a mishmash of colors. So I went and put white on it and repainted it.
Okay.
I like those modern abstract, so I tried this one. It's still in works because I'm adding paint to it.
Okay. Well, okay. So here's the thing I'll say about it right now. You know, when I look at this piece,
Yeah.
I really like the color combinations and what you're doing with the color, because it
Thank you.
seems like for the most part, you know, you really lowered the intensity on all the actual color, other than maybe the yellow, and then the white and the black. Pardon? Somebody asked something? Okay. Anyway, so you got some really nice contrast going on, you know, between the black, the white, and the color elements in there. And I like
Hanging behind my back.
yeah. And I like the movement of it, you know, because of where the white and the black, kind of how the colors flow through it. You know, I think you've done a nice job on it so far. So,
I am very happy to hear, you know, it's
yeah,
not-
I well-
designed much here.
yeah.
I started with, it's all acrylic, and I started with a knife,
Uh-huh.
and then I said, okay, fixing some colors and stains. I'm doing it with a little brush, but I started it with because I saw some videos how to work with a knife. So
Like a palette knife.
yeah, palette knife. I bought a couple of steel palette knives and I started playing with it.
Okay. All right.
So I'm glad it came out okay,
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice little piece of art. So,
Okay, I
I
need
don't know
to
how
think.
little it is, but it is. It's a nice piece of art. So,
Thank you very much.
okay, let's see. Let's talk about Lawrence. Okay, so this is Lawrence's rendition of Girl with a Pearl Earring.
It's very nice.
Yeah, and he had done a line drawing last week, and the lines were all kind of the same. So Larry, did you take this and build on top of that original drawing, or is this a whole totally new drawing?
No, that's the original one I submitted. I decided to do something with it.
Okay, yeah. Well, you softened, by adding the tone to it, it softened it considerably. And that's a nice drawing.
I swear, the camera is made that lighter than it really is.
Really? Okay.
It sure is. It's a lot darker than that on my wall.
Is it? Okay. But even with that, there's a nice range of value in it. And it still has maintained that kind of graphic look that you had in the drawing originally. So it made it, rather than a very traditional looking drawing, it made it very kind of modernist looking. And so, yeah, I mean, that's working pretty well for you. Okay. We got two more, and I got just a few minutes here. We got 3 whole minutes. So this is Naomi. Naomi, are you here?
Here. I'm here.
I hear you far, far away.
Oh. Now?
Okay.
Is it better?
Can you talk into your microphone, turn up
Wait,
your
I'm gonna-
volume, something?
I don't know how to do that. I got to get my husband to.
All right. I kind of barely hear you back there. Anyhow, let's see. Nope, you're unmuted. Okay. I like where you're going with this. Now, is this in Conte?
Sort of. Yeah.
Sort of. It's sort
Well,
of.
I did it pencil and Conte.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I guess I see a little gray back there. So like I said, yeah, this is a fun little drawing. And, it's got nice movement in it. The way that you use the Conte and use the side of it and just getting the motion and the movement. So yeah, I think you did well with that. I wish you would have left maybe a little more air around the drawing, because you're taking it right off the edge there, and maybe that's just the way you photographed it. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen just a little bit of paper around there. The problem with drawings and things like that is you have to, you're limited by the size of piece of paper that you're working on.
It was a small piece of paper.
Yeah, and so you want to be careful how you scale your drawing on there, so that you're not bleeding off the edge unless you actually intend to do that. But usually with drawings, you try not to do it because a lot of drawings, when you present them, you put a mat on them, and then you can crop it, the way you want to. Okay. But I would have rather have too much paper around a drawing than not enough. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and then last but certainly not least, Wanda. Okay, she was here earlier.
He's still here. I'm here.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So tell us about your Degas ballerina.
I'm still learning to draw people like this, and I was just trying to show a little bit of shadow, light coming from the top.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was trying to do, to show skin tone and how the light reflects from it.
Okay. Well, for the most part, you know,